Hello and welcome to the Farmer Education on Farmer Samuel. In building a climate resilient farm, one of the factors that we really want to consider is irrigation. I said I'm bringing you a series of topics under building a climate resilient farm or building a sustainable farming system in this changing climate. So kindly, stay with me as I take you through how to build a climate resilient farm through irrigation. My name is Samuel. Kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel at Farmer Samuel. Share, comment, and like for more educational content on building a climate resilient farm. One of the factors that you really want to consider in building a climate resilient farm is irrigation. We cannot plant without rain. We cannot plant without water. But depending on rainfall for production, it's not safe. It's not 100% guaranteed that your crops are going to grow well. Rainfall is a major factor when it comes to farming, when it comes to working in agriculture. So it's really important. If you really want to build a climate resilient farm, consider irrigation as your topmost priority, and it's going to help your farm progress. It's going to help your farm grow well and ensure its sustainability and food security as well. So here's why it matters to consider irrigation in building a climate resilient farm. Unpredictable rainfall patterns. Climate change causes irregular and unpredictable rains, which really affect production in the country. So considering irrigation is a good thing to do when you really want to go into production and ensure sustainability. Consider irrigation and it's going to help you. Irrigation again ensures a steady water supply during the dry spells or in the drought seasons. Depending on rainfall, we all know that we have times that rains come, we have times that we experience drought, we have times that we expect rains to come but it doesn't. So when you go into irrigation, it just ensures a steady supply of water during these seasons when the rains are not coming, and also helps farmers avoid total crop failure when or during the dry spells or when farmers miss rains. So it is very key to ensure that in going into production or going into farming, let irrigation be one of the most important things that you consider in starting up a farming business, or if even you are already in it, invest into irrigation and it's going to help you ensure sustainability. The second point is water efficiency. When it rains and you don't have a system to harvest rain, whatever that comes from the sky, it falls, then go. So let's say when your crops needs an amount of water, when it rains, that amount is supplied and the rest is just washed off. But in an irrigation system, you'll be able to manage water efficiently. See, when there are irrigation systems put in place like the drip and then the sprinkler, it gives the farmer control over how much water is needed and when the water is needed by the plant. So you see, when you have this system, you regularize the inflows and then the outflows of water. And again, under water efficiency, it's irrigation conserves water for future use while still growing healthy crops. I mean, when crops are being supplied with water and it's growing healthy, the rest is reserved or it's conserved for future usage while still these crops are growing. So I mean, irrigation is really important in our day-to-day farming activity. If you only have the capacity, but even if you don't have, make plans for that. Growing every time and harvesting. Farming is in such a way that these are small-scale farmers. They farm, they harvest, thinking that the next growing season, rains is going to come for them to produce. But Investing into farming or investing into agriculture is also an important thing to do if you really want to make your farming business sustainable. The third point is irrigation builds farmers' resilience. Irrigation reduces the reliance on rainfall, which is becoming more unpredictable. So it is really important. If in irrigation you don't have to wait for rains to come, you don't have to wait until it rains, but if the system is there, you supply your water when the crops need it. So when the rains are unpredictable, you care less about that. So it is really important. Irrigation is a key to ensuring a climate resilient farm, or is a key to ensuring a sustainable farming system. As I said earlier, it also gives farmers control over when and how much water is needed by the crop. And again, irrigation makes farming less risky and more predictable in a changing climate. I hope you understand what I'm saying. If you have an irrigation system, you see, farming is becoming less risky. It's not even risky to you, because though you can be faced with pest and disease challenge, that one can be controlled. But with rainfall, you cannot control rains. And if you don't have the irrigation system, how are you going to be able to control rains? So irrigation system makes farming less, risky and then more predictable in this changing climate. So it's very important to consider irrigation in this changing climate and then building a climate resilient farm. The last point that I want to talk about is irrigation boosts income and productivity. You will bear with me that if you have a system that you are able to control the inflows and outflows of water, you are able to supply your crops with whatever amount of water is needed at each point of the crops growing cycle. You ensure high quality crops. Something like vegetables that needs consistent water for development is really key. And again, you also make more harvest every year, and it ensures yearly production throughout the season. You don't wait for the onset of rain before you plant. You don't wait for rains to stop before you harvest. You always have what is available to go in for production. So irrigation is just the top fact that we really need to consider in building a climate resilient farm. And it reduces crop loss due to drought or dry spells, which directly affects income. So when the risk of losing your crops is reduced, your income goes higher. You harvest more, and then your income also increases. So we cannot do away with water in farming. Whenever you want to produce, you cannot just cultivate. You cannot just plant and without no water you expect your crop to germinate. But when you plant and you supply your crop with water, it germinates and grows healthy. But when you plant and there are no rains, that's where you start thinking of when is it even going to rain? I've planted and about for some days now there's no rains. Farming is not good at all. But putting in place these measures, thinking of that will not be in your mind. You will only think of how much nutrients you need to supply to your soil. Rains or water will not be a problem to you when you are into an irrigation system. You can even get a small water supply for crops to grow well. So as small scale farmers, we can do something for ourselves. We shouldn't always plant and sell our crops. Let's invest back into our farming system, and it's going to help us ensure sustainability. So in wrapping up, I'll say that in a changing climate, relying on rainfall is no longer safe for production. Irrigation is not just a backup plan, it's a tool for survival, ensuring sustainability and ensuring food security in our farming business. So consider irrigation in building a climate resilient farm. or in building a sustainable farming system in this changing climate. Kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel, like, comment, and share for more educational content on building a climate resilient farm. My name is Samuel. Kindly join me. Let us plant today and harvest tomorrow. This is Farm with Samuel.